All dairy products, apatya in vitiligo, do you ask them to avoid because child and there will be difficulties?
See very clearly the dairy product of America or something like that, or a dairy product in Indian cities and a dairy product in Indian villages, quite different from one another. I do recommend if it is consumed, I mean, dairy products, particularly the milk and these things are consumed by the child. If it is from Indian cows, desi cows, so then there will be no problem. Otherwise, if it is from the Jersey or something like that, or Holstein and such type of things, and I do advise them not to consume.
So, to explain the apatyas in detail for skin disorders, with respect to Shvitra or Vitiligo, Viruddhahara is told, Chardi Vega Dharana is told, Ati Bhojana. These are, I collected reference from many textbooks, including Charasamhita. Atyamla Lavana, Madhura, Katurasa Sevana, Navanna, Dadhi, like freshly harvested grains, which are usually abhishandi, sticky, and hard to digest. Matsya Bhakshana is explained, like heavy intake of fresh grains. So, apart from that, anything that we are missing here, sir?
Basically, this is explained in a text with respect to that time. We need to make it Yugan Rupee. Now you can add all sorts of roadside all preparations, chats, or even chunky masalas, something like that, or even Panipuri, Gobi Manchuri, so many spicy items, whichever the junk masala foods are there, all those things, and even bakery items that should be avoided.
With bakery items, usually they mix and match many different ingredients, and this has seen you use similar strategy in most of the skin diseases. We had a session with psoriasis and all. So simply avoiding external foods and eating what our grandmothers cook probably is the simple solution, sir.
Definitely, because presently you may be wonder what they do is or how they do it. They have a preparation. Once they do the preparation, they will add something as a chemical salts or something like that to give smell, to give odor, to give taste, to give a finishing touch, to act as a preservative. There are plenty of material is added and some colors. We don't know what exactly which is causing a problem, and all of them in their combination, they may be worst combination. So it comes under the category of Viruddha Ahara or Apatya Bhojana. So definitely we need to avoid all those things. They may be very tasty, tangy to the tongue, but it is very, very definitely it is going to be dangerous to the system. So that needs to be avoided.
Yeah, and especially the color, the gobi manchurias, they make it like bright and just as if freshly harvested and taken. And what the it is also consumer mentality that has caused all these issues. If it is home baked, is it still a problem because of baking powder? Do you see any correlation between use of baking powder and varieties of skin diseases, sir?
Definitely. See, our nannies never used to, our grandmothers never used to add all these things, which you are presently seen in any YouTube videos or something like that, or Khana Kazana or something, kitchens and so on and so ads and so many reels and so many things nowadays. Don't go by that. Just stick on to your in-laws or grandmothers or mothers' recipes. They use all homemade things. They never depend on any preservatives or coloring agents or tangy materials to be added to the food preparations. Presently, we are just seen from the videos and so on, and we are trying to incorporate the same thing. So that's why during lockdown, you might have seen Corona lockdown. Most of the homes in India, they prepared Panipuri and these things at home. They learned all these things, Gobi Manchurian, Panipuri, they prepared at home. Because everything from the outside is closed. But we are not in a position to just leave those Panipuri and Gobi Manchurian, the Golgappas and all those things. So what we did is we prepared things inside the home. So in the same manner, while preparing, we also prepare by the using all those chemicals like ajinomotos in that, some salts in that, some nonsense, many coloring agents, so many things that needs to be avoided.
Especially the problem with the restaurants and roadside chat is that they use the same oil to even cook the next batch, even bake the next batch of pakodas, and it becomes a real mess. But it's not very. It doesn't sound like pleasant, because we are not telling any secret. We are just you're just telling to go back to normalcy, and we have become so deviated from normalcy that we assume that probably homemade panipuri is better.
No, the thing is, until unless if you don't add a little bit of Ajinomoto to that, that won't get this taste of that what we get in the roadside. The child may say that what the panipuri you made, doesn't taste like how we used to get from the vendor. They start comparing with that, because once we start eating those things, they stimulate our neurons and our memories in such a way that every evening it pushes us to go to the Panipuri stall, something like neurotoxins or something, whatever we call. So that needs to be avoided. And when they're in a multiple combination, we don't know in what way they are doing good. It becomes such a apatya and viruddha ahara. So many things are happening, and still people are not ready to accept. But only they'll accept when the things goes beyond one limit. Then they start thinking that how to correct it. But still, once they start taking medicines, everything is set down, and then there will be one query: sir, how long should I take this medicine? Then once it is somewhat rectified, then they will ask all those apatyas: shall I eat once in a week? So all these will come.
Rightfully, someone said like one who controls the mind controls the world, basically. So what about again non-vegetarian food? Matsyahara is told as a causative factor.
Usually in all skin conditions, I do say that if they are non-vegetarians, I ask them to stop it, because all the non-vegetarian diet what we do, which is definitely mixed with masalas, spices, oils, or something like that, and they are cooked in such a manner, and they are not supportive to rakta, they definitely spoil the blood, and anything which causes the vitiation in the blood will definitely support the skin diseases. So indirectly it supports skin conditions. So I suggest not to eat.